Welcome back, everybody. Hey, we have Tobias in all the way from Norway. He came out here to spend a good long time working out, finding a deeper commitment to his fitness and transformational journey in life. And I won't take away anything from what he's done. You're going to hear it directly from himself. Tobias, hit him with it.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me on here. And yeah, I've come all the way from Norway. I'm that Norwegian Viking who just likes to put himself out there and really just put myself in a position where I have to challenge myself, you know? So yeah, I came over from Norway to Miami, and I really felt like that was my next move.
Okay.
I had to surround myself.
Yeah, I love it. Now, a lot of people don't know what Norway's like in the United States. We see the movies. We're familiar with the show Vikings and Ragnar Lothbrok. Are you rolling around with an axe? Like, what's going on in Norway?
I know a lot of people, and especially Americans. They think it's ice beers in the streets and it's crazy over here. But it's not really that crazy, to be honest. We're pretty normal people. But I think that what I felt was the right move for me was to come here to Miami because the people are different in the way they think.
Right.
So the success thing is a lot bigger here in Miami. Not so many people are focused on success. If so, they're kind of more like downgrading their success and speaking down on it. So, yeah, but no Eskimos in the streets.
No Vikings, no Kattegat.
Nah.
Interesting is that, you know, it's further north, so it's a lot colder, and I'm sure fitness is kind of a challenge in that region. Since here in Miami, you know, we can walk around shirtless pretty much year round, and go for a walk to move the body is, you know, quite beneficial to the average person compared to someone that lives, you know, much further north up in like the Canada region, Norway, Iceland, even England is pretty miserable a lot of times of the year. So your daily routine in Miami and Norway, what did your daily routine in Norway look like prior to coming to Miami? I mean, what did you do?
To be honest, my daily routine has been the same ever since I started this personal development journey. So it's always been a early wake up, 3:45, no matter where I am, what I'm doing, it's always 3:45. So I'm up at 3:45, and then I hit my 50 push-ups, regardless of where I am. You can just drop down and do them. That's why it's easy. It doesn't have to be so. It's not about the difficulty of the task. It's more about the consistency and the discipline to actually do it.
Right.
Because even though it's just push-ups, I still got to make a choice. I got to make a decision. When I'm laying in bed, either to drop down and do them or to not do them.
Right.
So it is a choice regardless of how difficult it might be.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, those small compromises that we tell ourselves it's okay really stack up in a pretty detrimental way over time. It's the, you know, I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like going to college. I don't feel like taking my significant other on date night. And those things start to really erode the possibility of what a person can achieve over time. If you just stop the negotiation and procrastination with yourself, you can go a lot further, a lot faster by just doing more. And that's it.
That's true.
Now, your mindset from Norway was the same as here, but prior to this change in personal development, what kind of person were you?
I was the complete opposite. I would say I was the complete opposite of what I'm doing now.
Right.
So it was really a total transition in my whole character, in everything I was doing. Because I was always drinking on the weekends, out with the guys, having beer with the guys. I don't even get that shit now. Like beer with the guys, is that even a thing? Is that even a real thing? You know, so I was the total opposite. I was drinking on the weekends. I was smoking cigarettes. I was sleeping in. I was skipping gym most of the time, and especially on a Sunday where I didn't really give a fuck about what I was doing.
Right.
And it was always going to that junk food, finding those momentary pleasures just to fulfill, I don't know what it was, like some type of empty space that at that time I couldn't point a finger at it. Because I didn't have the personal development at that time to see it.
Right.
But now that I look back at it after making this huge change in both my mindset, my body, my spirituality, everything that I've been doing has just had this whole transformation, and that's just it.
No, I can definitely relate to that. And I think a lot of people out there can relate to the instant gratification and the dopamine hit of, junk food, drinking with the fellas or the ladies, the girls' night out kind of thing. And that the premise behind that is whatever's happening in your life, it's not good enough. They need an escape. The fast food and the junk food is an escape from, whatever situation you're sitting in, and you receive dopamine to make you feel good. And it's the same thing with, the drinking the alcohol and chasing the girls and all the things of pleasure really are escape whatever's going on in this life. I think one of the superpowers in life is introducing discomfort into your life, either by removing the junk food and all those pleasures, so that one, when you do something nice, you really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But then it's to condition the mind to accept, I can be just fine without all those things. And now nothing stops you because you don't really need to be happy. You don't really need to find the pleasure. That's shit that women do, I think, in this world, is they by far need to be much happier in general than the average man. And I don't know your experience, but I think there's some level of agreement that once you are good with discomfort, you can really achieve everything. Because a lot in life, when it relates back to when it relates back to success, not sex, sorry, when it relates back to success, is very uncomfortable. Long work hours are uncomfortable. Taking your company to the edge is uncomfortable. Moving across the planet is very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say is, the most uncomfortable thing that you've gone through in life so far?
I think it was actually just recently, because I worked as a pipe fitter before. So I worked as a pipe fitter for 2 years, and I thought to myself, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I just took a chance on myself, again, placed myself in discomfort, but this time this was probably the most unknown situation that I could put myself in. Right. Because I was just, let me move to Asia. So I went to Asia, I went to the Philippines, and I went to Bali, Indonesia. I was away from home for 5 months. And when I just made that decision to go, I had no idea what was going to happen. I knew I had the daily habits. I know what I have, but I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So I placed myself in a discomfortable position where I didn't know the outcome. But I always knew that I would figure something out. And that comes with a mindset, because I always knew that no matter what happens, I'm still going to be just fine.
Yeah.
If I just have some core principles and some core things that I can do every single day, brings me back to the daily habits. If I can wake up on that time and validate myself with those things and not just think about all the fear. Because I was living so much fear. I had so much fear, and it came to a point where I was just locking myself in my room when I was out traveling, because I was so fearful. What's going to happen? What if this happens? What if that happens? What am I going to do?
Right.
And am I going to make it? I was so fearful. So it wasn't until I dropped the fear of what's going to happen, that's when I really started to live life present.
Yeah, no, that's legitimate. Fear is massively detrimental. That first step is the scariest. It's the same thing when if you wanted to go to college, the same thing if you want to change your career, the same thing if you want to get married. I know a lot of people that they're terrified of getting in a relationship and being married because it's so safe to control your world, because then you have limited variables and you're only angry at yourself. It's hard to break your own heart, but it's easy for someone else to shit on you and deceive you and break your heart, so it's a little scary. And we have to understand is that the unknown is always a little bit scary, but it's only truly as scary as we make it. What's the worst thing that you think could happen by doing this? What is the absolute worst thing by changing your career from being a pipe fitter to transitioning over into focusing on personal development and then helping others in a similar situation? What do you think is the worst thing that could happen? What's the end of the world failure for you?
I don't really see no end of nothing.
Yeah.
That mindset is so important, because I don't even see a possible way that I will fail anything. Like
Right.
I always see solutions and not problems. And that was one of the biggest mindset shifts, going from seeing only problems, being negative, to seeing solutions, being positive, bringing that positive energy, and really people could feed off and feel that energy. And they
Right.
always do. When you walk into a room, they will always feel the type of aura and energy that you will bring. And you
Right.
will always recognize the people with bad energy that are not having a good day. But those who have those people like me who have a bad day, you wouldn't even recognize it.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm keeping that to myself to bring the best version of myself to the people around me, regardless of how I feel.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense. That's stoicism. You know, the people around you as a man in this world shouldn't really be aware that you're going through a hard time. Not realistically. You shouldn't be so emotional as that you project all that pain onto the people around you or struggle. You just move through it, because that reminds me of Jocko, a good quote from Jocko, and he says it's always good. You're going to learn something from it. Oh, it didn't go our way? Good. Oh, we lost some ground today? Good. Oh, we didn't get, that achievement, that marker we were looking for? Good. There's always good in everything. You have to flip the switch and just understand that a failure isn't total loss. It's a lesson. So you have to pull out the lesson that life is teaching you, and obviously focus on trying not to repeat that same problem over and over again. But I tend to agree. I'm not really concerned about failure. Failure is a good thing. I want to actually fail as often as possible. Micro failures so that I can learn. I don't want the big failures, but I'm willing to take it all the way to the big failures, because that's the only way I'm going to learn. Yeah. I have limited time on this life. Playing it safe, you're not going to achieve very much. Michael Jordan didn't play it safe. Kobe Bryant didn't play it safe. Tiger Woods didn't play it safe. None of these people that achieved anything of greatness in life never played it safe. They took the swing, and you're going to miss a lot when you're swinging, but that's okay. Occasionally you're going to connect it, and it's just going to go. And that's the beauty of just putting an effort. I think it's just an effort equation. Now, coming from Norway, cold as fuck.
Yeah.
Not a lot of trees, a little cold. How is life different here in Miami compared to Norway?
I honestly think it's pretty similar, because it all comes back to what I'm doing, but the things that changes are the things around me, and also especially the people.
Right.
Because I came here with an idea of I want to surround myself with the people that can push me further, because I didn't really feel like I had that no other place.
Right.
I've always been, when I was in Norway, when I was all around the world, I've always been seeing the people that are here, but on social media.
Sure.
And I've been working with some of them before I came here, just online. But I really thought that putting myself here, I'm surrounding myself, because proximity is power. Proximity is real power. And you really don't have, or you're placing yourself in a position where you don't feel like you have a choice. So you just have to do everything that you're getting told to do, everything that you feel like you have to do. You just have to do everything and not procrastinate, because it's so big here. It's pressure. Your next level up is getting forced upon you. You don't have a way out. That's what you feel like. So yeah, I feel like it's pretty similar, but the people and the environment is totally different in a positive way.
Right. Yeah, no, the best way to cure a sick dog is place that sick dog into a healthy pack. And, the group that you associate with pushes each other in a lot of ways. And they all have their unique way they view the world and what they bring to the table. And they have something in common, which is consistency. We have something in common, is that we hit that gym every day. You're obviously far more dialed in on your macros than I am, but I have to make that change. I came out of a bulk for a few months, and it was hard to let go of all that tasty food. Now it's the thing that has to change. It's one of those, there's not really an option, and I have to push myself into that mindset of just going back into a cut. You just have to do it. it sucks. And it's really only the first few days, really, that's bad. If
It
you can
is.
make it through the first week,
Yep.
the likelihood that you'll continue when you love it is pretty easy, realistically. It's just that first week, right? It's like, okay, no more uncounted snacks, no more bullshit. You just have to just dig in and do make the tough choices. And if you want to be successful in that area, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's like everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now you're in Miami. Massive distractions here. Massive
Always.
distractions here. I think Miami's probably similar to all the hot spots in the world, Dubai, Vegas, any place that has a lot of travelers coming through and is kind of a hot spot. How do you avoid the pitfalls of all the various distractions here?
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I've been thinking about this multiple times. What would I do if I didn't quit my vices? What would I do if I still was drinking alcohol? If I still was interested in going out, staying up late? What would I actually do? I think that I would do that every single day.
Right.
Because I have a really addictive personality. So if I wasn't to quit all those things, I think it would be very easy for me to just go straight back into it. It's just that one night, that one thing, but then then you're telling yourself that, okay, the next day it's not going to happen. But then the exact same thing happens the next day, and you fall into this loop of bad habits that is almost impossible to break out of.
Right.
And I felt that multiple times, especially when we talk about the food and stuff, breaking those bad habits.
Food is hard.
Then, yeah, I was going on a food bender after I came off my cut because I was so hungry.
Yeah.
That's like the hunger you really feel.
Yeah.
And one day it turned into 2, 3, 4, and it was just this loop going on. And every single night, I told myself, do not order pizza, do not order the junk. And I'm talking about me staying up to 1 a.m., staying up till midnight, just like, am I going to do it or not? Am I going to do it or not? And then choosing to do it, making a bad choice, and then telling myself, no, don't do it tomorrow, because the temptations will come. But then doing it again and again and again. And it was really hard to break out of that bad cycle of bad habits.
No, 100%. It's nearly impossible because it's so pleasurable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so good, especially when you've gone without for a long time. You know, you went on a cut and you got super ripped. Probably what 20 weeks, 30 weeks somewhere in there to get you that lean, and you know, your body is just craving all that good shit, and it makes it nearly impossible, and you have to just commit to something. You're like, I'm just going to do this no matter what, and I might hate it. I might hate myself at moments. I might hate the world, but we got to stick to this because the results are definitely worth it. If anything, it's just a confidence builder. Oh, I could do something that was so uncomfortable that so few people will commit to, and I achieved it. And it's powerful. I mean, you look at the United States, it's less than 10% of people in the United States have 6-pack abs.
Yeah, I think it's crazy.
That's a massive achievement. It isn't the only thing you need to accomplish in life, but that automatically establishes a resume that I have super high discipline and I have a super high tolerance to induce self-suffering. Okay, that's no different than a marathon runner or a bodybuilder or an elite athlete or someone super successful in anything. Even if it was, I give a hard time on people that play video games, but there are people out there that play video games that are competitive, and those people make a ton of money online. And if you're that level of person, how many hours do they have to sacrifice to achieve that level of success? They just committed to one thing and said, I'm just going to be good at Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever. And they did it. And for years and years and years of their life, they achieved that. So they had to suffer. They didn't get to go out with their friends. They didn't get to go out and party. They played those video games forever. Now, I'm not a proponent of video games when it comes to the real world, is because it's a production. It robs you of your productivity. And if you grew up poor like I did, and you wanted to be middle class, you don't get to do what all the poor people did in your neighborhood and your friends. You have to do double what they're doing and something a little bit different to break through to the middle class. And if you wanted to go from poor to upper class, you would have to essentially do 3 times the work in one life period. Doesn't matter if you're a garbage man. If you worked 40 hours as a garbage man, you just double it, work 80, you would go twice as far. And if you worked, we'll just say 180 hours or 240 hours, you're gonna triple your output. So it's all about productive time in life. So 1x, 2x, 3x. We hear the Grant Cardone, 10x your shit, right? You'll go 10x as far. Well, I kind of think you might not quite go 10x, but you're definitely going to go 7, 8, or 9.
Yeah.
And if you want to break free, that's what it takes. That's what it is. And I grew up fucking really poor. Like no electricity sometimes, no medicine, no food. And I think that's somewhat common for a lot of people nowadays. And I just, every day I wake up, I don't want to go back to that. So what can I do today to prevent that from happening again? Well, it's nearly impossible for me to go back to that place, but I can work. I can make more connections. I can network. I can do more content. I can do more ads. I can do more connections with people. I can shake more hands, and I will go further because there's nothing wrong with my product. Could it be better? Of course it could be better. We'll constantly refine, but a large portion of my success relies on how many people I can interact with. If it's one a day, well, that's going to be real hard to get somewhere. But if you're interacting with 100 people a day, well, there's a millionaire sitting in those hundreds. You know, if you're interacting with 1,000 people a day, well, now there's 10 millionaires sitting in that 1,000. Then we can do something with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, even if you completely sucked at sales, there's going to be one person that just really loves your story. You'll be like, you know what? You said everything wrong, but you know what? I really believe in you. I'm going to buy from you. And this is what I'm going to do. Instead of wanting you to deliver a product, we're just going to go over sales in our meetings because I really don't need what you have, but you need what I have to help you go to the next level because I see a spark. You'll run across someone like that. I tend to do that in my business is when I see someone that needs my help more than I need their money, I'll help them. And I'll just get on the call. I have, I think, three clients of mine. They don't pay. They're basically pro bono. It feels good for me to help them. And I've watched them grow their businesses from 30,000 to 150K a month. And just by having a mature adult from the outside that doesn't want anything from them, just wants to see them win, that perspective is invaluable for a young man because most young men don't have a mentor. They don't have a guide in anything they do. A lot of men are fatherless, and a lot of men don't have that successful tribe around them in various areas to kind of guide them through some of the pitfalls in life. I mean, how valuable is your tribe in your life at the moment?
It's extremely, it's everything.
Right.
I would say it's everything. You learn about everything you need to learn. You learn from the people that I'm around right now.
Right.
And one of the biggest things that you have to learn is that success takes time.
Yeah.
Everything that is worth something takes time, consistency, effort, and dedication.
Right.
Nothing will come for free. And the people that expect things to come for free, they won't get anything. And they'll end up staying in the same place and at this just doing the same things and not getting anywhere because they think that they can just get this and that and everything they want. When the reality is that it takes time and energy and resources and everything from you.
It's a skill challenge. Success is linked to skill development. Skill development comes at a cost of either finance or time. If you don't put in your time to develop the skill, well, then success will probably evade you. And it doesn't matter what it is, unless you're a female and you're 20 and obnoxiously attractive, success is going to be nearly impossible because girls these days can leverage that beauty and sell a product. Men don't necessarily have that option. So most men fall into their success route somewhere in the range of 40 and 50. That's because it takes that much time to develop all those skills. They have to master a lot. We're not talking surface knowledge. You're not going to get a course and become an expert at something. You're not. You have to do it a lot. You're saying all day, every day for 3 to 5 years to master that one skill. Then there's probably another 4 or 5 skills you have to master. So now you understand is, oh, if there's 5 critical business skills I need to master, it's going to take me 3 to 5 years per. What time frame does that put you in? Between 40 and 50 years old. That's the math. And you don't get to live 200, 300, 400 years. You have an average of 80 years on the planet. You're probably 40, 50, and 60 of them are going to be good years. And then the rest, you're falling apart. Everything hurts. You're probably a little sickly. It's just not going to work. So you have, just a short amount of time to get good at things. And it's interesting is that at this age, you notice a link between success takes time because you can't rush it. Everybody wants it tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, I hit my macros today. How come I'm not ripped? Well, it just doesn't kind of work like that. You need to repeat that another 100, 200 days.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then it's a science and everything. The routine is important in life. And I think you can attest to that. How important do you think the routine is in your life and why?
It's everything. Or it's the measurement of any task that I get put to do. My routine and my discipline reflects in how good and consistent I can stay with that task. So no matter what it is, if I have the discipline and everything that comes with it in the foundation, everything is about the foundation. If you got the foundation, you can be put in any environment with any circumstances, with any task, and you can do it well and stick with it for a long period of time because you've just accepted that you have to do it for a long time, so you accept that you have to do it.
Right. It just if you build a good and solid foundation with your routine, it becomes habit. Habit just gets normalized. So if it's controlling the food, waking up early, reading for spirituality, and applying some type of system, if you do that system enough, one, you get way more efficient at it. It's not so difficult to do, and it just becomes life.
Yeah.
And then you stack a new thing on it, and now you've optimized and expanded what you're doing until you master that next thing. You just start building to where a regular person can't follow a simple blueprint. They won't get up on time. They won't eat what they're supposed to eat. They won't expand their mind, read knowledge, and then they wonder why they're not getting any results. They're not staying consistent enough in any one habit to add more. So they're just flailing everywhere. And that shit is super, super powerful. I mean, I have the same wake up every day. Every day. Alarm goes off at 5. I just moved it back this week at 4:30. And we're going to keep up 4:30. It's not that I believe in getting up early does anything for me at all, other than add more productive time in the day. So I'll go with a little bit less sleep. The one thing I would say getting up early does for me personally is it keeps me out of trouble at night. I'm old as fuck. I'm old as dirt. Santa Claus is younger than me. And part of it is that if I get up early, it keeps me accountable for my evenings. And it's easy here in Miami to get distracted and go get invited to a dinner or go hang out with your girl or whatever. I'm not trying to do any of those things. I'm trying to build a successful business, so I need more time. And to stay away from those things and only do them when they're very important to me, like date night, I will, with the woman I love, by the way, date night, I will prioritize that above everything else because I don't hang out with the boys. Most of the guys I hang out with is always business, and it's earlier, 6. We meet up at like 6, like old people times, right? So the restaurant's just opening. That's when we go out. I don't go out in Miami at 11 p.m. because I lose all that productive time, and getting up early becomes a real challenge for me. When I'm out at 11, 12, getting up at 4:30, 5 a.m. is really painful. So I just move my day around a little bit. I'm old people, so I'll be in bed, when I turn off the computer at 8:30. Now I'm getting reasonable sleep. I wind down a little bit and get up early. And that's, I think, the biggest benefit personally. More productive time, and the second would be keeping me accountable in the evenings. because there's so much to do here in Miami. It's easy to fall into that trap.
It's very easy.
Very easy. It's everywhere. Being a young single man
Yep.
in Miami and having, we'll just say, temptations everywhere. I saw a post where you're talking about there's attractive people everywhere. Now, why are you single, my man?
I've just been so locked in on the personal development journey. I don't really feel I've had any time. I've had girlfriends before, like in my earlier years. I had a girlfriend for 3.5 years, but that was when I was younger. It was no personal development. I wasn't the same man that I am today. So I really think that I'm just on this come up. I'm in this phase of my life where the most important thing for me is to build that character.
Sure.
Is to build that undeniable, very disciplined and unstoppable individual, that unstoppable man that I want to become, who can actually achieve something great in his life and give the people around him that he cares about the life that they deserve.
Right. I love that. That's good that you're avoiding distraction. I think most men don't. Well, I'll put it like this. Most men will probably only ever date 5 women or less in their life, about 70, 80%. An attractive man, we'll just call him a desirable, high-value man, or something that's not so common. The niche percentage of society, we'll say top 20 and 10%. Those men are inundated with opportunity from females. There is a line. And it's hard for the average man to understand. It's also hard for women to understand, is because women almost across the realm have a line of men standing there. Can I be next? Can I be next? Can I be next? But I want the audience to understand is that the average man goes entirely invisible to the desired females out there. They don't even exist. And even to the average women, the average man is invisible because they don't desire anything that the average man has. But a truly extraordinary man that is, either educated, successful, very fit, charismatic, the things that a female would want in her husband or her dream husband, that man has a line. And it's easy for an attractive young man to fall victim to the distraction of that line. Because I'm sure you can walk around Miami and you should notice, is that there's girls that check you out. Yes. Attractive women that most men would just paw over. Now, how do you avoid that? If a woman comes up and says, "You're the father of my children today. What is your name? I don't even care your name. What your name is. Let's go do this." You just say no, or be like, "I'll take your number and we'll think about it."
I gotta have a little bit more integrity than just hopping on the whatever.
Yeah.
It's something about like that connection. It's something about getting to know someone. And of course, it's different types. You have different types of girls. Sure. Some girls are like, you don't see no future. You don't have no feelings attached, especially as a man, because we don't have if we don't have feelings attached, it doesn't mean anything. Right. It's the complete opposite for a girl. Right. So I think there is definitely different girls, and I have my type of girl. I don't like Norwegian girls. Okay. First of all. I'm not a blonde type of guy. I don't really like that. I'm more into the darker hair, more East European, a little bit. That's more in my route of girl, if we're talking preferences. But you can really tell the behavior of a chick. Yeah. Their behavior. Would your dream girl really just go up to you and say, "Let's go and do this now"? I don't think so.
Love at first sight, baby.
Yeah, in some rare cases. Yeah. And sometimes you just want to do that, right? Right. But when we're talking about having a girl that actually will be by your side, that will be your main girl that really supports you and maybe might bring your children to the world, right, further down the road, then it's got to be, I don't think you find those girls on any dating apps. You don't find them out partying.
Yeah.
You don't find them out with that typical behavior that we see a lot of here in Miami.
Yeah, Miami's a party town, and there's a lot of transient people. I think it's better up in Boca or Fort Lauderdale or a little bit more north. But down here in the hustle of Miami, there's massive amount of tourists. People come here to party and get dumb, kind of like Vegas. And you just see a whole different environment. My gauge in life, and this has been very effective for me over the past few years, is I won't date anybody that I can't imagine being my wife or having my children. So if they don't meet that level of interest as a female, that level of honesty, communication, and we just sort of get along and commitment, then I won't bother. And I'm not interested in sports cars, in my life. I don't want a sports car woman. I'll say that. I want a Rolls Royce woman that can act like a sports car from time to time and looks like a sports car from time to time, but is a different kind of woman. One that understands me, is committed, honest, wants to have my children, and will ride out those tough times in life, because no relationship is easy. It's like life. There's no life that's easy. Life is difficult. It's hard. Relationships can be difficult and go through massive stressors at times, and you have to understand, is that, are you committed to each other, or is it okay if you have a way out? There's a difference, and it's kind of like the diet. Yeah. It goes back to that, is, are you committed to the diet, or are you going to take the way out? Well, relationships are a lot like the diet. There's a way out everywhere. If you're married, you get a divorce. If you're going to get married, there's a prenup. If you're married and don't want to get a divorce, yeah, maybe there's a side bitch or a side dude, right? It just depends, and there's always a way out. Well, that's not commitment. And commitment's very difficult in anything. And that's been very effective in my life, is, are you committed? And are you committed to go all the way? Like, do you want this woman to have little people that come out looking like you a little bit, and are you going to make sure that their lives taken care of? And if you can do that, then your relationship gauge will be pretty good. And if it's a sports car, you're like, it looks like that's a really great test drive, but I'm going to have to respectfully decline, because I don't think you're interested in having my children.
Yeah.
And that's been very effective for me. That's kept me out of a lot of trouble. That's kept me away from the very transactional, very, OnlyFans looking, very obnoxiously attractive females over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And not to say that, my current girlfriend is not a knockout. She is. She's a knockout, but she doesn't have any of those, we'll just say, transactional behaviors of take me out, entertain me kind of thing. She's actually really chill, and I had to look a long time to find someone like that in my life. It's not just going to fall in your lap. If she says, I want you to have my children today, that would be a cute pickup line, but I hope she's not serious. Now, kind of, what is your definition of what would be a high value female? What is that to Tobias?
I hear many people, they talk about cooking, cleaning, all this stuff, but if we go back in time, that was what they already were doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're kind of giving, or we're giving some points to some obvious tasks.
Sure.
It's the same thing for a man. A man is always expected to provide, protect. He has to be this character with charisma. You have to have a lot of traits.
Right.
But that's also expected. Like, we're giving points to many things that they should already be doing.
Standards.
So it's kind of like when you remove those things that are already expected, what do we sit like? What is left?
Right.
What else do a woman bring to the table other than the basic stuff? So I would say that a very supportive woman. I see a lot of successful men out here with very supportive and committed women by their side. I think that's a massive thing. A woman who doesn't give you a headache because you have to deal with a lot of things.
Sure.
Like you're up early, you have business, you have this and that, and a lot of things going on. So I don't think that you want to come home to a headache.
Right.
And especially if you know that, oh, shit might go down now. Like, I don't want to go home and get a headache right now.
Right.
I don't think the right woman or a good woman will make you feel that way.
Sure.
I think a supportive woman on what you do, and she can be kind of like, she brings out of you what you need to become or what you need to be. She ain't trying to bring you down. She's not trying to have you not act like this or that to so you're not so attractive to other females. Like a supportive woman, I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Okay. No, I tend to agree with that. If you're going to go anywhere in life, you need a confidant and a contributor. You don't need someone that's going to distract you from the things that you need to do. So it's a team. It's not just the dude's show, but if the dude is making all the decisions, why would the female introduce situations where they can't make decisions effectively? A distraction. I will not tolerate drama whatsoever. Girls, handle your fucking shit. I understand that you have a week out of the month where it's going to be challenging to control your emotions, but how come you get a way out? How the fuck do we allow females to get an excuse because I'm just a girl? I can't help it. Well, I'm just a fucking guy. I can't help it. That's not an excuse. If I want to go bang every chick in the fucking planet, that's not an excuse. Control yourself. Understand if you're going through something, say, hey, look, I understand I'm going through something. I just need a little bit of space. Like, is there a girlfriend that we can call over that you could talk to? Because I ain't that motherfucker. I'm not the dude that's just going to sit there and pretend to be your girlfriend that cares about whatever it is that you're going through. I can't relate. My day is not driven by feeling and emotion. It's driven by, I have to get X accomplished to take care of the person I love. That's it. How come I can't be in a bad mood and like take the day off? I'm not going to go hang out at the fucking spa all day. The fuck? That's what I work so hard is for my girl to go do something like that. In my dream environment of what I build in my life is I become so successful that my family gets to go do those things. Yes, we can go do the family times and all that stuff, but those things, happiness isn't part of my equation.
Yeah.
It's just not in the journey of a man that wants to succeed. Look at Elon Musk. Do you think Elon Musk is happy? Honestly, objectively, how the fuck could you think that the number 2 on the assassination list on the planet is happy man? He's trying to find $1 trillion in fraudulent spending in the United States government's budget. And he's probably going to get there. What part of that seems fun? What part of that brings him happy is that dude knows there's a problem. He knows that if we continue, the debt is going to cost more than we spend in defense. And just the interest on the debt, that means that we won't have a country. And he knows it. And we demonize him for that. When I look into that guy's eye, and when he's speaking, I don't see someone with malice. I don't see someone with happiness or joy. I see someone that knows he's the only person on the planet to solve the problem. And that's, I think, what it is as a man, is it's your problem to solve. Happiness is not in the equation.
I don't think so either.
Now, for you had this big event where you shifted into personal development. Did you read a book? Like, was there an event in your life that you just couldn't take anymore? Or how did you go from a pipe fitter to this personal development path at such a young age? What was the catalyst there?
Well, first of all, I started out, or when I was starting out training, the only focus that I had was I want to be big, I want to be strong, you know? And I thought I was doing the right things, like eating healthy and all this stuff, but it ended up with me getting to a point where I was 100 kilo. I was fat, but I almost believed that I couldn't see it myself. Yes, of course, I was insecure about seeing my body in the mirror and taking my shirt off anywhere, you know. But I don't really think I was aware of how destructive it really was to my self-image, to my confidence, and everything like that. So it really started with me getting in shape. This whole change started with getting in shape. That's the biggest thing. So I was able to drop down to 71 kilo, and I was just had abs that I never even thought could be possible for me to achieve.
Right.
And when I say that I was at 100 kilo in 2022. So if we just skip a little forward, then I was on another diet in 2024, and I had 5 months where I dropped 12 kilos, and I got this six pack that I was talking about. And those 5 months that I was on this hard diet was the start of everything. Like, even though that was arguably the 5 hardest months of my life, just because of the diet, just because of the restrictions, just because of the new habits that I tried to implement, trying and failing, because let's be honest, you won't get anything the first time.
Right.
I failed on my wake up again and again and again, but I still tried. And it got to a point where I was able to not miss on my habits. So those 5 months, who was, as I mentioned, arguably the hardest, also turned into be the most character building 5 months of my life.
Yeah.
So if I didn't have those 5 months and everything started somewhere, I was 100 kilo. I wasn't always in good shape. I wasn't always having a speaking ability. I wasn't always confident. I didn't always have all those traits. So everything starts somewhere. But those 5 months, that was the start of my whole transformation, and it built the most character and discipline of everything that I've done in my life.
I love it. I love it. I wholeheartedly understand that journey. Now, you're at this position, you've figured out the discipline, you figured out the mindset, the routines. You now build programs for people that require help, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. And what is essentially your ideal person you help?
The ideal person that I help is someone that was pretty much like me. Maybe I have a client, he just wanted to get better. He just wanted to fix his habits. And then he lost 10 to 15 centimeters of his waist. And that's priceless to me, because I know that change. I know it's not just about the fitness. It's not just about losing weight.
Right.
It does so much more to you. And especially as a man, when you're walking around and you see, I wouldn't say that most men are in shape. I would say that most men aren't in shape.
Of course.
That's for sure. But I would say that whenever a not so fit man sees another fit man, they kind of have this envy towards them. Maybe they don't know what it is, but maybe they tried a diet before themselves and they failed, or maybe they just don't have the discipline to get it done. Because most people, most men specifically, they don't have the discipline. They do not have the discipline. So yeah, I think that's the thing.
No, that's good. And I want to look right at the audience right now, and I want you to understand something, is that the average American in the United States is either, about 70% of the United States is either obese or morbidly obese. So that's 20 pounds or 30 plus with impacts to the longevity of their life. Guaranteed they will live less, not longer. Okay, now that's the statistic. The majority of those men are entirely invisible. They're invisible to the men around them. They're invisible to the females around them. They walk around extremely upset and angry at life, and they don't understand why. I can tell you right now, if you just got yourself down to a healthy range, and I'm not talking all veiny, all jacked, just a monster in the gym. I'm talking healthy size. People will start to notice you because you're now part of the minority group in society that is healthy and is of a healthy body composition. Now you're unique and rare. And now when you walk past girls, not every girl is going to notice you, but 1 in 10 might look your way. And then 1 in 20 might even drop a little joke or say hello or something. Now you're starting to get noticed by men and women in society. And if you develop your personality and confidence upon that, now that that resume is established physically, you can do a lot more with life a lot easier. Dating is a lot easier when you're a healthy range. I knew a guy, he was 2 years on an app, and he swiped regularly for 2 years, not one connection. And he goes, this app's broken. I said, I don't use apps, bro. There's poor quality of people on there that can't communicate in the real world. I go, but I don't think it's broken. Let me check it out. What app is it? So I get on that app and I start doing my thing, and I don't know. I was inundated with messages. It wasn't that he was a bad guy. He was one of the best guys that I've ever known. He just allowed himself to be completely invisible to the opposite sex. And our fix was simply to just understand what females wanted and then build more in that in him. And in less than 6 months, the dude found a woman. And how did he do it? He dressed better, he got in better shape, and he showed off more of his personality, which had good traits. And I just said, hey, lead with this. You're not interested in a girl that's going to come and go casually. You're interested in finding the woman that wants to be your wife. Boom. And in 6 months, he found that girl, and they've been dating ever since. Now they've been together like 5 years. But that is a very common situation that most men fall into.
Yeah, and that's what I see with my clients as well. They start to be very much more aware of everything they do.
Right.
What they eat, what they dress, what they're doing, how people that they care about, how they view them. Because I can't argue against that. I was probably viewed as that man who was out of shape, who was the fat one,
Yep.
and didn't have too much confidence because of that. So I see my clients, and that's one of the most valuable things to me, and what makes me happy is to see other people transform.
Yeah.
So when I see them go through the same journey that I did, and they're actually making a change, and they're not just, I think most people that get into a program or just say they want to do better, they talk too much.
Right.
There's too much talking and less of action. You got to stop talking and start doing. I have these people all day in my DMs. I've DM'd a guy 3 months ago, and he really wanted to do something. I messaged him again 3 months later. Nothing happened. There's too much talking, dreaming, imaginationing, visualizing what you want to become, but there is no pure action towards it.
Yeah.
And action is the only way to get anywhere. Only way. There's no possible way that you're going to get jacked, that you're going to get successful, that you're going to get anywhere in life if you don't take action.
Yeah. Everything boils down to action. And most people are afraid. It comes back to fear. They're afraid. Their ego is inundated with fear and can't sustain the pain of the first failure. So then they create scenarios in their head to convince them why they shouldn't even start. That person's jacked because they just take steroids. That person is jacked because they don't have a family and they only worry about themselves. That person is jacked because they have good genes, or that person dropped weight because they were on Ozempic or something like that. No. What is it that you're going to do? Find out what works for you and be committed to the process. I'm not suggesting that you get on stage and be all abbed out. All I'm simply suggesting is make healthier choices, avoid alcohol, drugs, chasing females, and focus on proper nutrition and just moving the body and adding in some form of spirituality, and you won't be a worse person. You will be a better person. You know why? It's because that's perfectly in line with the Bible, the Quran, Buddhism, and every other religion on the planet. So how could they all be wrong and you guys think you know what's right? Okay, private account with a cat photo, sending hate messages on the internet for people that have done something, living the life that you dream you could have, and you make fun of it. Yeah, you guys know.
That's the thing, because most of the people, it's kind of like they want it, but they don't want to work for it.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
Yeah, God says God will help those who help themselves. That's in the Bible. I didn't say it. I can't coin that as a Clinton phrase, but someone way smarter and way more divine said that. But everything boils down to you believe you can get it done, and then you go out into the wilderness and start getting it done. Yeah. And it will be imperfect. You will bleed. You will hate life. You will suffer. But if you do it long enough, you will look around and there won't be anybody around you. You'll be the only person left doing it. You'll be like, wow, how did I end up here? How did I end up here with the dream life, the dream body, dope kids, successful? Oh, I could retire. how did you end up there? A lifetime of hard choices, a lot of failures, a lot of people out there saying you couldn't get it done, and you did it. And that's goes back to your action. Action. I believe that is the gem right there that you dropped on them. It seems so simple. They're gonna miss it. Action.
Definitely. They always miss it. They want to hear it, but the thing is, what you hear and what you do is two completely different things.
100%.
Because I can listen to 100 podcasts about personal development or have 50 Spotify tracks of motivational speeches on my ear, but if I don't do anything, it's not going to do anything for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I can't accept excuses because I never gave myself one.
Right.
I was probably the guy to make excuses before, but now I've never made an excuse about anything. So I can't accept something from another man that I didn't accept for myself.
Yeah.
That would just be unfair towards myself and towards that individual, because I know if I give them no way out, they will do it.
Right.
If I tell them correctly and I tell them the truth instead of placating them like all this princess stuff, they will actually do it.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of those talks with my clients as well, where I really had to tell them my story, my full story, for them to really understand what this is all about. And that it's not just about fitness that we all see everywhere, like fitness, working out. It's not just about that. So I've had that talk multiple times with some of my clients, but they need it and it's important.
Right. No, it's what people don't understand is it's not fitness, but the single best way to teach a mammal is introduce discomfort. So if you're going to train a dog, you introduce discomfort. If you're going to reprogram recruits in recruit training in the Marines, the Army, doesn't matter, pick a service anywhere on the planet, you introduce discomfort. Discomfort builds discipline. Discomfort builds delayed gratification, and it's the only way to reprogram the way you view the world. It is massively difficult to reprogram the way you see the world when you're living in a state of comfort everywhere.
Yes.
Why would I want to change any of this? The answer is you fucking don't. If you introduce discomfort and delayed gratification over a long enough time, you can now start to view the world completely differently. Oh, I don't need anything out here that everybody else needs. I just have I have enough clothes, I have enough food, I have enough water, I'm taking a shower, and I'm making enough money to survive. Okay, the material desires and we'll just say infinite loop of consumerism just melts away. And then, oh shit, without all that stuff and that pressure to go get those things, I'm really happy. Okay, now we can do something. And now it just becomes, how do I work more? How do I add more to this skill set that I've developed? It's all about, I'm just a massive proponent in doing difficult stuff. I look up to people that suffer, the David Goggins, the Arnold Schwarzeneggers, the odd individuals on the world that just go really hard to achieve something really impressive.
That's some of the things that I had to introduce at a certain point in my journey, because I felt like I was not progressing. I wasn't challenging myself enough. Yeah. So as you say, I'm seeking discomfort because I know on the other end of something that I really don't want to do, or something that terrifies me, or even something that I know the outcome of this will be that I'm going to be completely fucked. Like mentally, spiritually, physically, I'm going to be completely just drained. And some of the things that I did, one of the biggest things that I did was to just, okay, what do I not want to do? Like I made a list. And one of the things, I hate running. That's not my thing. Even though I played football for a decade when I was younger, now I just hate running. It's a good feeling after, but when you're in the moment, no, it's not good. So I started to run marathons, and I ran a half marathon. 2 days later, I ran a marathon. First a half marathon, and then 2 days later, a marathon.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then I just made a decision, okay, a marathon is cool, but I want to have that 50 kilometer. That's, I think, 33 or 36 miles.
That's far.
For you guys in the US. And keep in mind, I'm not a runner. Like, when I ran that 50 kilometer, it was 1 month since I ran the last time. So I purely did it for the mindset.
Yeah.
And I talked about this all the time on my social media, on my Instagram story and stuff, that you guys, this is not for any, like, this is not beneficial for muscle growth. This is not because I want to, like, any type of physical benefit. This is purely for the mindset, because I know that in the middle of that run, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to have to make a decision to continue or to break. And I was, when I say I was so drained mentally and physically, when I was finished with that run, I mean it.
Yeah.
Because it was probably one of the hardest things that I did, like, physically.
No, that's crazy far. I won't. Hey, look, I gotta be honest. I ran for. I mean, I can exaggerate. Let's not tell exactly the truth, but I ran since 19. So off and on, or the majority of my life, I ran till about 38. I would run 5 to 10 kilometers a day, and for easily 5 or 6 days a week. I'd take some breaks here and there, but I just enjoyed running, just because it cleared my head, and the runner's high and the endorphins and breathing. I just felt better if I ran, and I always did the gym too, but it's not for everyone.
It's not. and also for it's probably some runners that are watching this now that are more built like a runner. I'm not really built like a runner.
Yeah.
You know, 50 kilometers is a long way.
Yeah.
Where everything is relative.
That's far.
But keep in mind, you guys, this was not in Miami, nice weather. This was in Norway, in minus 10 to 15 degrees, ice on the roads. I couldn't run properly. It's a whole different environment. So it's not just that I was running, but there was multiple other elements, like the cold. I can't even run. I was in the woods. I had to, like, kind of climb up some places. So it was really just the test of time to my level of commitment and my level of follow through.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So you can sustain things that you don't believe you can. And one of the things is, what's your why? If someone was chasing you in a car, you would run a lot further than you think you could. And I said, if you stop, I'm just going to execute your whole family, but you need to go 20 miles. You'll somehow figure out how to go 20 miles. Your legs and feet will be broken. You'll have torn tendons and ligaments in your feet and toes and everywhere else. But you will figure out, because your why is so much, is that you will sacrifice yourself psychologically. When I used to run, I used to do this thing, and this was psychotic, but I learned this, is they would say, take their power. And what you would do is you would find someone and you would just run them down and pass them. And you could literally see the shift in their confidence as you would just pass them running and a long distance. And they would literally slow way down, is that they were defeated. They're like, fuck, this motherfucker just passed me. Oh, hell to the no. And they would just, their demeanor would change. And I would pick someone and I could feel my heart rate. It was long before, like, I had heart rate counters in your watches and shit like that. I remember the straps and stuff. And my heart rate would be like way up there, like 190 and stuff like that. And I would literally be talking to God, be like, take me, motherfucker. Take my life then. If you don't think I can do it, then just stop my heart. And I would just be cranking on that run, just like self-dialogue back and forth to God, be like talking shit. Yeah. Essentially talking shit to my own conscience, be like, you aren't going to die, motherfucker. Like, you can't push it that hard. And I would just be like trying to, like, make myself throw up and get my body to stop. And those were some of the fastest years of my life. 5K, I'd be doing it as sub 18 minutes. And that's pretty quick. And I was never a light runner body type. I've always been more like a middle linebacker than, a wide receiver. So moving 210 pounds, 10 miles, 5 miles, a lot different than moving 140. I'll tell you that.
It is, definitely. And it's crazy that you say it, because the dialogue with your conscience, or the dialogue with God, that self-talk, had the same experience.
Yeah, I had to. I had to go there and be willing to die. And that's really the point, is you have to create a scenario that you're willing to go all the way and take the loss. And it's an exaggeration, if you will, a little bit of theater that you're talking to God and be like, just fucking kill me now. But you have to get in a state where death is a real possibility. And and I think that's linked to purpose. What would you be willing to die for? For females, a lot of times it's their family, their children. And for men, obviously, a lot of times it's his family. So I would always go back to linking the things that you want to do back to a very significant purpose that you're willing to go all the way, even if it's just a loop in your head, right? And because no winner has ever said, it's okay, I'm going to fail today. Like, you never stepped on the court and be like, today's the day that the Lakers are going to beat us. It's okay. Like, the fuck? No champion ever said that. You're going to win. You have to be psychopathic with your win and being able to go all the way. And I think that's the most important point to take away in achieving anything. It's just be able to go all in. Now, I want you to close them out here, Tobias. Leave the audience with something profound. Just hit them with it. Close them out and give them something to remember you by.
So, you guys, the most valuable thing that you can do for yourself in this life is to really take yourself serious. And if you want other people, to view you as a serious man, you have to show them so that when they just looking at you, they already know you're disciplined. If I'm walking down the street here in Miami with a normal shirt or even with my shirt off, you think that gives a certain aura, that gives a certain confidence, a certain energy that will attract more people. So when you're sitting home in the couch, eating junk food, not putting in the work, and you're wondering why people don't want to interact with you, you're wondering why you're being viewed as this lazy individual. It's just common sense. Everything takes time, everything takes work, but no one started at a perfect place. I didn't. I was 100 kilo, 20 to 30 kilos overweight with no habits. I was drinking. I was in a vicious cycle of bad habits that I almost couldn't get out of. So everyone starts someplace. So it's just a choice. Are you going to start someplace and become a man of value, or are you not? It's that simple.
I love that shit. And like always, everybody, hey, that next life is one choice away. You just need to start. And like everything, if you want more of this, hit that subscribe and tap in. There's not a massive amount of people on the planet that are interested in personal development podcasts. But here we are carving out our space on the internet, and we would love your support. If you would like to hear any other guests, comment below and we'll hook up with those guests. Or if there's topics that we're missing that you want to hear about, we will gladly hit those on the next episode. Until then, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace, and I'll see you next time.